Hey, friends, and welcome back to the Diving Deeper podcast. I'm your host, Lucas Liebforth. I'm a follower of Christ, husband to Megan, and dad to Mac. We are taking our journey further as we dive deeper into Scripture together. We are in our 12th week of our Bible in a Year plan. And we're going to be walking through Deuteronomy 6 through 26. We're going to go Luke 7 to 11, and then we're going to end with Psalm 5, 6, and 115. So let's start with Deuteronomy 6. We're actually going to start this section with 6 through 11. So this is where Moses is emphasizing the importance of loving and obeying God's commandments. And so we see there's warnings against idolatry here. And then there's also, again, this constant reminder of God's faithfulness. We need to constantly be reminded of this because we will forget. We might not think that we will, but we are prone to wander. We are prone to forget what God has done, is doing, and will do. Deuteronomy 12 through 16 is our next little section. And here's a quick, brief summary of it. There's regulations for worship, which talks about sacrifices, tithes, and then as well as there's the observance of feasts. Then we skip to our next section, Deuteronomy 17 through 21. There are instructions here for appointing judges and kings. There are laws concerning various aspects of life. And then there are provisions for warfare and conduct in battle. Then Deuteronomy 22 through 26, we see laws here concerning social justice, biblical social justice, mind you, purity, family relationships, and offerings. And so in Deuteronomy, Moses passionately reiterates the covenant between God and Israel, urging them to wholeheartedly love and obey him. Through laws and reminders of God's faithfulness, Israel is called to walk in righteousness and holiness as they prepare to enter the promised land. So Luke 7, I have these all broken down into each individual chapters. Luke 7, we see Jesus' ministry of healing, including the healing of the centurion's servant and the raising of the widow's son. Luke 8, there's the parables of the sower, the lamp on a stand, and the calming of the storm, which here is really cool. There's the Jesus' authority over nature that's demonstrated and realized by his disciples. Luke 9, we see Jesus sending out the 12 apostles, feeding the 5,000, and he is predicting and foreshadowing his death and resurrection. Luke 10, there's the sending out of the 72, the parable of the Good Samaritan, and Jesus' visit to Mary and Martha. And then Luke 11 finishes out with Jesus' teaching on prayer, casting out demons, and confronting the religious leaders. See, in Luke's gospel, we witness the compassionate ministry and authoritative teaching of Jesus. Through miracles, through parables, and confrontations, Jesus reveals his identity as the Son of God and invites all to follow him in faith. And we're going to end out today with Psalm 5, 6, and 115. So Psalm 5 is this morning prayer for God's guidance and for his protection. And there's a plea for deliverance from enemies. I think that there's this common pleading to God over and over and over in the Psalms. Psalm 6, it's a cry for mercy and healing in the midst of suffering, expressing confidence in God's faithfulness, his care, his wisdom, his sovereignty. And Psalm 115, it's a declaration of trust in God's sovereignty and glory, contrasting the powerlessness of idols. So we see expressions of trust, we see expressions of supplication and praise, and they remind us of the steadfast love of God, the power of God, who hears the cries of his people, and he deserves all honor, all glory, all praise, friends. So in conclusion to all of the scripture that we kind of did a 50,000 foot overview on, these passages in Deuteronomy, in Luke, and in the Psalms all offer a profound glimpse into the relationship between God and humanity. From the faithful obedience urged by Moses in Deuteronomy to the compassionate ministry and divine authority demonstrated by Jesus in Luke's gospel, we see God's relentless pursuit of his people's hearts. So as we reflect on the Psalms, we're reminded of the depth of human experience and the unwavering faithfulness of God to his promise. And so I hope that you take all of what we learned and talked about this week, and that you go and love and obey God more wholeheartedly, to trust in him, to trust in his provision, to trust in his guidance, and to offer him heartfelt praise and worship. To offer him heartfelt praise and worship because he deserves that. Well, friends, that's all for our Bible in a Year this week. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that you will continue joining along as we publish these podcast episodes. I hope that you're learning something as we dive deeper and look at the intersection between beliefs and culture. Take care and God bless.